The chair now lays out House Bill 1837 and calls on Madam Chair Gonzalez to lay out the bill. I believe you've got a committee substitute.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Representative Johnson lays out the committee substitute to House Bill 1837, and the chair calls on Chairwoman Gonzalez to explain the bill.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, committee members. Good morning. In my district, people ride horses, ride motorcycles, and drive trucks. And a constituent bought me this bill or this issue, and I'm really passionate. I've become very passionate about it as learning some of their issues. The committee sub is literally the same bill, just a ledge council draft, because we all know how ledge council had a lot of things to do over the last few months. Motorcycle profiling occurs when a law enforcement officer takes action based on the fact that a person is riding a motorcycle or wearing a motorcycle clothing rather than on a person's behavior or actual evidence of criminal activity. In fact, in 2001, the legislature passed a requirement that law enforcement officers receive education and training in motorcycle profiling. Yet, despite 20 years later, the problem remains and appears to be growing. In fact, a 2018 survey of motorcyclists reported a doubling of incidents from 2013 that shows an upward trend that has continued. HB 1837 takes 3 steps to end motorcycle profiling. First, it defines explicitly what motorcycle profiling is. Second, it prohibits it. And third, it provides an avenue for relief of a person who is targeted for motorcycle profiling. HB 1837 seeks to ensure that law-abiding motorcyclists enjoy the same rights and responsibilities on the road as any other motorcyclist. I know I'm trying to get the floor, so I won't speak a lot, but there are some great stories from the witnesses that you can hear their experience. And with that, I reserve the right to close.
Okay, Madam Chair, thank you. Members, any questions? Okay, we recognize you've reserved your right to close. We've got 5 witnesses right now, all of whom registered for the bill. Chair calls Ski Dodson. Mr. Dodson, if you'll state your name and affiliation and position on the bill. And just a reminder, we are on a 3-minute time limit for our witnesses. And so if you'll try to observe that time limit, the committee would appreciate it. If you'll state your name and affiliation and position on the committee sub to House Bill 1837.
I will. My name is Ski Dodson. I'm testifying in support of House Bill 1837. I'm testifying on behalf of myself and also for the Texas ABATE Confederation. I'd like to go on the record to say throughout all my research and to the best of my knowledge, all the states that have previously passed a anti-motorcycle profiling bill, Washington, Maryland, Louisiana, Idaho. To the best of my knowledge, there have not been any repercussions to any law enforcement organization by installing this anti-profiling bill. I don't think that there's any repercussions or any tools that were left out of their toolbox as far as law enforcement goes. I'm not a club member. I don't belong to any clubs or riding clubs, but motorcycle profiling is unlawful and affects all of us, independents as well. I am a member of the American Motorcycle Association. I'm the state rep for the Motorcycle Riders Foundation, and I'm also the state legislative officer for the Texas ABATE Confederation. Since I just have another minute left, I would like to reflect on one incident that happened to me just a little over a year ago, but I think that it amplifies what motorcycle profiling really is and how it can affect somebody that is legal and lawful in every other way. We were riding, my wife and I were coming back from a meeting, and we were riding a motorcycle, and we were merging at the same time with a city of Denison, Grayson County, police officer who was right beside us and immediately got behind us and turned on his lights and pulled me over. And I asked him, of course, what the problem was. He said I was almost going fast enough for a speeding ticket. And after about 20 minutes, and he would not let us get it off the motorcycle, asking all kinds of questions, what have you, checking my license, make sure that it was properly endorsed and everything. He came back and just said, "You're good to go." And I asked him again for a speeding ticket or at least a warning. He said, "You were not going fast enough." I did not even get a written warning for that incident. So that could have very easily escalated into something other than just a warning for sure. But that's basically all I have. We are in support of this bill, and we do hope that Texas passes this bill. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Members, any questions? Okay, thanks for your testimony. Good job on the timing. The chair calls Terry Blevins. And then after that will be Christopher Ward. Mr. Blevins, if you'll state your name and affiliation and position on the bill.
My name is Terry Blevins. I wanted to give my time to Chris Ward.
Well, Chris Ward is right after you, and he's got 3 minutes, just like you've got 3 minutes. So
Yes, sir.
we can't get into horse trading and give him 6 minutes. That would create all sorts of problems.
That's fine.
But
He's got a lot more to speak than I do.
Did you want to testify anymore?
No.
Did you want to take your 3 minutes?
No, I'm good.
Okay, because you did register, though, I need you to just state your name and your position on the bill.
Okay, my name is Terry Blevins, and I hope y'all do pass it.
Okay, so you're for the bill?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any questions for Mr. Blevins? Thank you. The chair calls Chris Ward. Mr. Ward, if you will state your name and affiliation and position on the bill.
Yeah, Christopher L. Ward, and I am for the HB 1837. Sorry if you felt like there was any horse trading. It's an important issue to us. So, anyway, my name is Chris Ward. I'm a volunteer for the Texas Council of Clubs and Independents. I come today to give a voice to 330,000 bikers and motorcycle enthusiasts across the state of Texas. I'm proud to serve as a representative of such heterogeneous group of bikers, both clubs and independents, comprised of all races, genders, religions, and political leanings. Thank you for giving us the time to speak regarding this increasing problem of motorcycle profiling in Texas. While the term may sound new to you, it is certainly not new to our community. In practical terms, this usually is revealed as a pretextual stop with the purpose of collecting data or initiating coercive searches, often extending the stop longer than it should take to effectuate the purpose of that stop. Such profiling has served as a weaponized form of stereotyping and has been tolerated for years as just a consequence of being a motorcyclist or a biker. But, lost my place. But it is only now that this community is united in an effort to bring this unfair targeting to your attention. Today, as you look around in the hallways or in this room, it is not just one club or just independent riders telling the tale. It is a unified motorcycling community fed up. In recent years, the angst has led to motorcyclists and bikers asserting rights, doing the research, and fighting the mistreatment judicially. As the community began to tally wins in court, it was becoming evident that a legislative remedy had to be made. I understand that you may assume that these are anecdotal stories of disgruntled bikers and because they were caught speeding, but you were wrong. As a result of the increased targeting of all bikers, we had to start the Ride, Record, Report program, encouraging bikers to record their interactions with law enforcement when stopped. If they could not record the event, they were encouraged to report the incident to our website where the public information request process, we could get the video evidence of motorcycle profiling. We have accumulated too much data proving that this is occurring. As I reviewed reports and watched videos, they confirmed less than subtle attempts to collect data for the Texas Gang database, regardless of if the motorcyclist was associated with any group identified by that gang database. Almost every incident showed a motorcyclist being coerced into otherwise non-consensual searches at the threat of arrest of a Class C misdemeanor. These reports are supported not only by video evidence, but are also the result of multiple civil lawsuits. With your help, I challenge the law enforcement agencies that have reached out to us with questions, or those here today, or those who will eventually watch these statements to work with us towards a solution. To be very clear, this is not anti-law enforcement in intent, but solely intended to protect Texas bikers from those that would perpetuate outdated stereotypes or from those who continually look for the villain Hollywood would be eager to provide. Our goal is to move forward with legislation with your help.
Well, so the 3-minute limit only applies to your statement. It doesn't apply to questions from the committee. So let me ask you, do you have another minute of testimony?
I'm good.
All right.
I can answer as many questions
Speaker
as
Moody,
you like.
thanks for your testimony. Speaker Moody.
Quick question. You referenced the video evidence that you all have collected. Is that something that we've had provided to us?
I can submit it.
That's something that we can
basically
find.
our YouTube channel.
Okay. If you,
Yeah.
That'd be good to have that information so
Absolutely.
we can see.
Yeah, if you'll submit it to our office, to my office, we'll submit it to the committee members, or you can send it out to all the committee members.
I would also like to send the executive summary that has motorcycle profiling statistics. So we've been collecting data, which was mentioned as part of the presentation, 5 years worth of data from all over the state of Texas. I would like to submit that to your offices as well. Unfortunately, the general email address doesn't allow large PDF files. So I will work with your offices individually to get that to you.
I liked your comment about wanting to work collaboratively with law
Yeah.
enforcement towards a solution. Have they sat down with you and talked to you about this?
No one took us serious until today.
Okay. And I don't know if they reached out to the bill author either, but
They have.
I would expect. Okay.
They have.
That's good to hear.
And we're happy to talk to them.
Good.
Yeah.
Representative Chairman Krause.
I had one. Sorry,
Thank you, Chairman. Oh, did you have follow-up?
Oh, I'm sorry, Speaker.
You had mentioned some. I'm sure you're going to ask this question. You had mentioned some litigation. Are there cases you can also point us to so we can digest those as well?
100%.
Thank you.
Yes.
That wasn't my question, but that was about now, I'm just curious.
Yes.
We had that situation in Waco a few years back.
Sure.
With the biker getting a lot of attention. Did y'all see an uptick or an increase in profiling or anything when something major like that happens? Do you feel
Probably the catalyst.
Yeah. Okay.
So as personal testimony, I had 4 brothers in my motorcycle club arrested at Waco as they were pulling into the parking lot. Not one of them was involved in any shenanigans. They spent 2 weeks in jail. 3 of my brothers were accidentally released based on the anyway, they were accidentally released, brought back, considered armed and dangerous for $2 million bond for being present, serving as a witness of a major ordeal. So can certainly answer questions about that if you like as well. Yeah.
Members, any other questions? All right, Mr. Ward, thanks for your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you. The chair calls Paul Landers, and then after that, Tom Cost.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chairman, committee members, thank you for having us this morning. My name is Paul Landers, Landers. A motorcyclist for over 40 years, a motorcycle rights advocate, and I've worked in the committee, our council of clubs, and the organization that we represent for many years. I am a survivor of Waco. We were there to conduct a meeting, a political gathering, to exercise our First Amendment rights like we've done for 17 years. We've never had even a fist fight. That incident, to answer your question, was definitely a catalyst. We came off a national convention in Denver Mother's Day weekend before Waco happened with a bill that we had written that was to be signed by the government to receive our motorcycle safety and awareness money. I testified in this very committee hearing to receive that money. It was an unfunded mandate that kept generating money for DPS to arbitrarily use for different things, but that money was not protecting our rights as motorcyclists or providing any safety programs. Consequently, the safety training program has been demolished by the state by not using those funds. My point of saying that is we have a long history in this House of working with lawmakers, with legislative analysts, with policy analysts, to tell our story. Everybody rides now. My doctor, my preacher, my lawyers. We're not the Sons of Anarchy Hollywood version of criminals traveling through your community terrorizing people. We are a cross-section of America. We're voters. And the survey statistics that Chris mentioned that you'll be provided will give you a wealth of information that shows less than 2% of the riding community are felons. 70% of independent riders have experienced some type of profiling. I've been riding them long enough. It's a different day. If you had a bike and you pulled up into a grocery store, women grabbed their pocketbook, men looked away. That's not the way it is now. So we strongly urge you to pass this legislation. We need it done. We've been here for many years. We've supported efforts that you guys are interested in. Representing I am on the Texas Council of Clubs advisory team. We speak for 340,000 registered motorcyclists. We're citizen voters. We protect our rights. We're willing to stand up and talk to you about it, and we're not going away. I strongly urge you to help us with this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Landers, members, any questions? Appreciate your testimony today. Thank you. Oh, actually, Mr. Landers, if you could come back, I'm sorry. If you could just restate your name and who you're here on behalf of and your position on the bill.
My name is Paul Landers. I'm here to represent the Texas Council of Clubs and Independents, as well as myself.
And you're for the bill?
I am definitely for the bill.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here. The chair calls Tom Cost. You'll state your name and your affiliation, your position on the bill.
My name is Tom Cost. Last name is spelled K-O-S-T. I'm with the Texas Council of Clubs and Independents as well, and I am definitely for this bill. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I come before you today to explain how profiling has affected many law-abiding motorcyclists, including myself. On the evening of May 22nd in 2018, I was returning home to my house on Toll Road 130, and I was pulled over for speeding by a state trooper, and something immediately seemed wrong. The loudspeaker came on. I was told to remove my helmet and walk back to the car. And I was met with 2 flashlights in my face and a barrage of questions. Where are you coming from? Have you been drinking? Anything illegal on your bike? How many people in your motorcycle club and where are they from? Were you in Waco? What do these patches mean? A barrage of questions. It was clear to me that I was being profiled and treated like a criminal gang member because I was wearing a motorcycle vest, which is my First Amendment right. I've been pulled over before and never been treated anything like that. The officer eventually declared, "You look suspicious," and he demanded to search my bike and my person. I said, "I don't consent to any searches." So he called the drug dogs out on me. When the officer was patting me down, he kept asking to see, "What's this in your cut?" And pulling out different things, and he asked to see this. And I said, "This is a booklet, the Texas U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence." So later he was heard on the body cam in the car saying, "I need to be careful with this one. He knows his rights." Yet he persisted in his illegal search, and he kept me on the side of the road for most of an hour. During the pat down, the other officer pulled his weapon out of the holster. Okay? I was completely compliant and did everything that they asked me to do. I could have shrugged it off like a lot of people do, but that didn't seem right to me. I imagine other motorcyclists in the future that might have to go through the same thing. So I sued the officer in the state of Texas. And when their motion to dismiss the case was denied, they settled real quick. If you'd like to read more about the story, you can look in the Houston Chronicle, front page, Sunday, October 11th last year. Profiling of any kind is wrong, and it's a violation of our rights. When police officers profile, mostly bad things happen. Police resources and tax dollars are wasted while generating animosity in the populations they serve. Meanwhile, actual criminals go free. We need this bill to enforce our rights, to redirect valuable police resources, and to prevent the state of Texas from being sued. As my colleague said, this is not anti-police. This is really directing police resources to the appropriate tasks that we all want them to do. I thank you for listening, and I ask you to please vote a resounding yes on this bill and a big no to motorcycle profiling.
Thank you, Mr. Cost. Members, any questions? Thanks for your testimony. Appreciate you being here today. Does anyone else wish to testify on, for, or against the committee substitute to House Bill 1837? The chair seeing none, the chair calls on. You've registered your position on the bill, but not to testify. Do you want to testify on the bill? Okay. Hang on just a sec. So we're going to need to leave the bill pending, and we'll come back after the floor.
It might be hours.
Hang on just a sec. If y'all can stick around, Chair Gonzalez, we'll leave the bill pending, and we'll come back after the floor. I need you to, when we leave.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No, don't leave it pending, please.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all, hold on just a sec. So when I say we're going to leave the bill pending, we're going to leave the bill pending no matter what. We're not going to vote on the bill today. And so if you wish to testify, you need to let the chair know right now, because we can't have you speak to the committee. So let the chair know. And if so, we can leave the bill pending and come back after the floor to hear your testimony. If not, then we'll close down and leave the bill pending and come back.
It looks like we're okay to go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else wish to testify on for or against the committee substitute to House Bill 1837? Seeing none, the chair calls on Chairwoman Gonzalez to close on the bill.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. We know that the profiling is wrong in any case. This is not the only issue of profiling that we know happens sometimes. But nonetheless, this is one area of profiling that needs to be addressed, that is becoming an issue. And I want to work together with everybody to think through how we can do this collaboratively, like you said, Chairman. And with that, I close.
Chairman Dutton has a question.
And thank you for this bill. In 2001, this legislature created a statute on racial profiling. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to say I hope you have as much luck with this one.
Amen. I totally understand what you're talking about. Like I said, all profiling is wrong. And so it's important for us to think about that. So thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, and I would just ask that the law enforcement who've written to the committee expressing concerns about the bill, and in one instance opposing the bill outright, I would suggest very strongly that they come meet with you as soon as possible today.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Representative Schofield.
Representative, it's always good to see you.
Pleasure.
You must be on the other side of the floor. I haven't seen much of you this session. But my concern with the bill is that we don't really list elements or anything that make up profiling, other than just saying that the person feels it was based wholly or partly on the individual operating a motorcycle. And my concern is that anybody who claims to have been racially profiled can file a suit, and they can sue the officer individually. It's too easy for anybody who gets pulled over to say, I can sue. I think we need some threshold in there, because you're obviously going to, if you just said any left-hander who gets pulled over, and I'm left-handed, you would chill police from pulling over any left-handers because they'd be afraid they're getting sued. And so some elements in here that we can all kind of agree on, that if you see this, or this, like they pull you over and don't even write you a warning, something that gives us grounds to know that this falls into that, rather than just you got pulled over because you were speeding like the rest of us. I don't want to chill people from doing what they're supposed to be doing, but we also don't want them profiling.
Wonderful. I'll work on some language and work with you, Representative.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond. I'm not sure that when you start to list all those sort of things you're talking about, that basically what you do is water down the effect of this. And what I'm worried about is kind of the same principle that you build a fence around to protect something. You really imprison it, so to speak. So I don't know that I could create a set of factors.
And it may not be that concrete, but something more than just, I better not pull over any motorcyclists because they'll just sue and we'll be tied up in court and my bosses are going to hate it. There's got to be something more than that, or I would counsel all my motorcycle clients, everybody sue every time you get a ticket and they'll just stop pulling you over.
I look back at the statute on racial profiling. That was one of the comments made back then. That didn't happen. And here we're talking about 340,000 riders, and yet in terms of what we were talking about was 12 million people. And so once you start to put down the elements that's going to make up this, I think what you do is you limit the application of it, so that you immediately will find that there are cases that fall well outside of that. But leaving this as a fact issue for a jury to determine, I think, is probably the better course, so that you all the extraneous facts come up to make up whether or not it's a valid case. And lawyers won't take these cases if there's not valid cases.
I am concerned this is too broad.
I'll talk to both of you offline.
Let's do that.
Thank you, and I close.
Let's do that. And to the folks in the room who have testimony prepared, I promise you that if you submit it to our offices in written testimony, the members of this committee are very diligent and will review your testimony. Your voice will be heard. And so thank you, Chair Gonzalez. The chair now withdraws the committee sub to House Bill 1837, and without objection, the chair leaves House Bill 1837 pending.
Thank you.
Without objection, the Committee on Judiciary and Civil Jurisprudence will recess until the final adjournment or recess of the House today.